REMNAS 600 is an acronym which basically stands for Remote Environmental Monitoring Units at a depth of 600 meters underwater, right? So basically, this means that the REMNAS 600, right, is an unmanned underwater drone, right, that performs monitoring, right, the environment at remote locations using this drone, right? Now, the 600 refers to the depth at which these monitoring happens. So these specific drones, right? These specific unmanned underwater drones were specifically designed for research purposes, right? For scientific research purposes. This ranged from um, analyzing and understanding the ocean bed, right? Archaeology, right? Lost black boxes from crashed planes, lost ships that have crashed and sank, submarines, right? And lost cities. So it is great, and it is specifically designed for marine research, right? Also ocean observation, right? And mapping. Now, the REMNAS 600 is also deployed for rescue missions after flooding and maybe hectic tsunamis and hurricanes. The type of sensory technology that you would find on board a REMNAS 600, right, would be of a twofold nature, right? You would find something known as a side scan sonar, right, and a multi-beam sonar. You also find a very sophisticated communication systems on these REMNA 600, right? For example, like they use iridium, right? They use acoustic modem, right? And they use Wi-Fi to communicate various messages and data throughout the mission and within the systems that you find in the REMNAS 600. Now, moreover, when we look at the type of navigation system that is installed within this unmanned underwater drone, right? It is quite complex, technical, and sophisticated, right? There are a number of navigation systems that you can find here, ranging from something known as a long baseline navigation system, the one we know, the global positioning system, the inertial navigation system, and a Doppler velocity log navigation system. Now, when we look at the specifications of this specific unmanned underwater drone, right, known as the REMNA 600, right, it has an operational depth of about 600 meters. Hence, the name of the product involves the 600. So it can operate at a depth of about 600 to about 1.5 kilometers, right? Now, this unmanned drone is about 9, right, to about 18 feet long, depending on what exactly you want to achieve with this drone, right? And then it can stay underwater for a period of about 20 hours, right? And then after that, it needs to move to the surface for it to be recharged and certain data and information retrieved. And it travels at a speed of about 5 nautical miles. Now, the US military has its own version of the REMNA 600, right? But it is adapted for military purposes, right? Now, instead of the REMNA 600 being used for research purposes, right, you use it for military purposes, right? Now, you use the REMNAS 600 to detect things like sea mines, right? To use it to gather intelligence. You use it as a surveillance tool, right? You use it in reconnaissance, right? And you use it for target acquisition and target zoning. So this unmanned underwater drone has been used in a number of places with success. Number one, the first place which these types of technology drones, right, were used were in the Ukrainian war, right? Ukraine was able to destroy about 20% of the Russians' Black Sea fleet, right? Using this REMNA 600 as a tool for reconnaissance, surveillance, intelligence, and target acquisition, right? So without the REMNAs, Ukraine was not going to be able to have any advantage on the sea to compared to Russia, right? So they are great for military use, for example, in Ukraine. Another great example is that these Remna 600, right, were also used by the US, right, in the Red Sea, right, when there was a war in Yemen between the Houthis, right, which were backed by Iran, and the government, which was backed by Saudi Arabia, right? So when the US deployed this technology, right, in the Red Sea, specifically in Bab el Mandab geostrategic choke point, now somehow in 2018, during the Yemeni war, the Houthis managed to capture a Remna 600, which was adapted for military purposes by the US Army, right? As it was surfacing up after it completed its mission, right? So they captured it and took that technology to Iran and China, in which Iran and China reversed engineered the technology and produced their own military versions of this unmanned underwater drone technology, right? And now it is believed that there's about 2,000 of these military adapted technologies, right, which are placed all around the Red Sea and the strait known as the Bab el Mandeb, right? So this is why um, the various Western nations, right, um, are very reluctant in going there because they know that the Houthis now have in their possession a technology similar to that of the REMUS 600, right? REMNAS 600 that is deployed in the Red Sea now, meaning that they are their ships, their vessels, even their military vessels and ships are at risk of being hit, right? They are literally sitting ducks if they go to the Red Sea,